Alrighty, we should be live. So today's stream will be a continuation of yesterday's stream, where we're going to be learning a little bit more about React, JSX, and going through these, getting started with React lessons. So, yeah, we're going to finish this, going through this article that we started yesterday. Yeah, do these lessons, and then hopefully, maybe after today's stream, get to this first React project, which will be very exciting to start. So without further ado, let us begin. So yeah, we went through this already. Just need to go through this article. Maybe zoom it out a little. Again, another documentation heavy stream, but that's just the way that the cookie crumbles, I guess, the way that the learning process goes. There's a lot of documentation to review. That's the way that I like to learn, you know. So kind of going through the documentation, getting that understanding, and then pivoting to building projects with that knowledge. So, yeah. So markup. Yeah, so you have the markup in the logic separated. Yeah. Rendering and markup live in the same place. Components, as we do know. Keeping a button's rendering logic and markup together ensures that they stay in sync. And see, again, having done vanilla JavaScript, I'm very aware of this separate form, right? So anyway, okay. So then. It's working on WPK. Sorry. Yeah, so we have to have the, yeah, so I think we learned about this with this React fragment. Fragments let you group things without leaving any trace. Yes, already learned that. Yeah, we got this camel case already. So we use camel case for those properties here. Using a JSX converter, that feels like a pain. Okay, so let's go through these projects here, or these challenges. CHUL is parsed into a component, but it's not valid JSX. Okay, so the first thing that we can do to fix this is wrap it in a fragment, right? And then I think actually that might just fix it. Oh, because these need to be... oh, this isn't included in this tag. Hold on, let me see. What's the problem here? Expected corresponding JSX closing tag for I. Oh, because the tags are out of order. Yes. There we go. And then we need to close the break tag like this. There we go. All right. Invalid DOM property class. I guess you could just call it class name like this. That should get rid of that error, right? Yes, cool. Now, I guess that was the only challenge for this little section, so we just mark that as complete. So there we go. Passing data between components. So let me just see what the dashboard looks like, just so I can get an idea of the upcoming. Okay, yeah, so let's just do data passing. Or passing data. React props, okay. Data is passed from child or parent to child components via props properties. Unidirectional. Allows for more explicit control. Yes, good. Okay. Example, let's say, reusable, creating reusable button, button components that may have different properties depending on developer choice, e.g. display different text when clicked, have a different colored background, we just put this code right in here. So we include the props inside the actual, okay. So the props are actually, the props exist as properties, or as, what would you call these? I guess these are just properties. inside the component tag when used, say if used in the parent somewhere. See example below. I think this makes sense. So you don't actually have to, like, it's not like a function call where you have like a list of properties or arguments, right? That makes sense. So these are the properties here, and then these properties are implicitly passed to props as an object like this, right? So it would be like props is like text, click me, and then color blue, and font size is 12, right? So this is like the props is like, I'm assuming it gets parsed as some sort of object into here, right? So that kind of makes sense. So I guess the thing to note here is if you're using a non-string, you have to include the non-string within curly braces, right? Yeah, the button functional component now receives props as a function parameter. The individual properties, yeah. Individual. When rendering the button components within the app, the prop values are defined on each component. Inline styles are dramatically generated or dynamically generated. Applied to the button element. Okay. Yes. Can you write a comment here? Prop deconstructing. Unpacking your props in the component parameters allows for more concise and readable code. Okay, so we deconstruct it like this. Okay, so right, so you just pass it in like this. So instead of function button props of use function button text color font size. Default props. Oh, you can also define defaults for props. Optional inclusion, or allows for Default props. This is traditionally used to set default props for props, particularly in class components. Oh, I see, like this. Okay. Functions as props. Props can be also be functions. Right? Passed by reference to as a property in the what? The component element? Parents? Oh, passed by value, I guess actually it would be. Or be reference. A reference to this function is passed through as the value for handle click prop. So then I'll put in the example. Do you still do comments? No. How do you do comments in HTML again? I think that's it. Or JSX. So it's like this. Or just do that as like a JavaScript comment. I see. Value of property is reference to function. Find above. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Okay. You only pass through reference to handle button click. We do not include parentheses. No parentheses included as the function is not being immediately executed in the property, right? So when you pass it, when you pass the function into the property reference here, it's not being run. It's only being executed here. That's the execution. Yeah, so, okay. If we wanted to give handle button click parameters, we would have to use the following. that's good. So when supplying an argument to the function, we can just write, yeah, of course. Extend must attach a reference to an anonymous function. Then calls the function with the argument. Yes. Curried functions. There are other ways to implement this behavior with curried functions. Ah, okay. I feel like this makes more sense though. I feel like this, yeah, this syntax is a lot more understandable. Okay, read through React docs on passing props to a component. I'm assuming this is going to be similar vibe to the other one. Yeah, so some exercises at the end, cool. Okay, we got class name, source, all. Yeah. Right, so normally props, normally in HTML props are predefined by the HTML standard. Yeah, I feel like that's good to note there. In this code, the profile component isn't passing any props to its child. Pass two props, person and a number. How's it going, Robo Sword? Hope you're doing well. You're also new to web dev? Nice. Well, you've come to the right place, my friend. Do I do any back end? I'm not there yet. I'm currently focused on front end, but I plan on being full stack eventually. But I'm learning for front end first. Yep. So I actually, if you go through my older streams, I spent the first 50 days of my learning journey on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and only in the last 2 days have I started learning React. But I will say that taking the time to learn like vanilla JS for 2 months really has prepared me for learning React, because I'm going through the initial learning lessons for React, initial, I guess, documentation, and it's very clear to me what's happening. And I feel like there's a huge benefit to focusing on JavaScript if you want to do front end. If you want to eventually get into React and other frameworks, or I should say libraries, because technically React is a library. Yeah, so I also do the Pomodoro. If you're new here, I do the Pomodoro on stream. So I do 25 minutes of work, whether it's me studying, working on a project, or chatting. I do that, and then 5 minutes of a break. And then I usually use the break to just talk to chat and stuff. You're mostly back end, that's fine. you can, approach web development however you like. I just am taking the more traditional front end to back end to full stack path because I want to eventually get a career in whether it's web development or software development, more broadly speaking. I want to be versatile. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of chunks up the stream nicely too because then I'm not like, because if I do like 2 straight hours of just studying, I get kind of burned out. So the break's kind of nice to chunk up the stream. Yeah, you also saw Nightbot there. I just posted a Discord link. You don't have to join it, but I also have a Discord server with over 100 members. So you can join that as well if you want to promote your stuff or, promote projects you're working on and stuff like that and talk about web dev. You're new to YouTube for coding. Do you have any advice for me? Well, it depends, Robo, like what you want to do. Like I would still say I'm very new to YouTube. Like I don't have that many subscribers either. I guess I have more than 3, but I would say the number one thing, and this is going to sound tacky, but I only started not even 3 months ago. I had 0 subs. Like I was the same position as you. But the number one thing that's gotten me where I am today at 700 and some subs, 750-ish, is consistency. So whether you do live streams or you upload long form videos, whatever way you want to do content, you have to do it consistently. Like I kind of tried out both. I tried out some long form videos. Well, not long form, but like videos, and I tried out streaming. And for me, I found that streaming was more fit better into my lifestyle. So I do streams 5 nights a week. And that's kind of what I've chosen to do for YouTube. And I've been, you can see on the history of my channel, like we're on day 57. I've been fairly consistent with the streaming. That's not to say to never take a break. Like this past Easter weekend, I took a break. But it's also just to let your core audience know that you're taking a break. Like, and I do that primarily through my Discord server. So the, core members of my stream are in there and they can see that. And yeah, just keeping people updated and consistent and, so people know what to expect when you're making content, I guess. Can I get a role in your Discord? Whenever I'm free, I can join you. You can actually, Jasser, you can pick your own roles in my Discord. So like, there's a bunch of roles that you can pick on your own, like whether you're a back-end web developer, full stack, front end, whether you're self-taught, whether you're, what continent you're in, stuff like that. So you can pick your own roles. All right, nice. I have to go though. I'll watch more of your streams and I'll also like and subscribe. I appreciate that, RoboSword. I really appreciate the support, my friend. Yeah, but I'll, I'll see you around, I hope. Oh, I mean, join the room I'm in. What do you like the like my room? No, I mean, I'm not like do you mean physically or like on like a voice chat or something? Because I also don't do that. I intend on doing these streams solo. I appreciate the offer, but I don't plan on collaborating anytime soon. But if you want to do your own streams and you want to plug them in my Discord, you totally can. Like if you want to advertise, say, hey, I'm doing, a stream tonight and I'm going to get this and this done, then, you can do that there. Oh, you mean voice chat when I'm off stream? Well, so my Discord has a study room. Yeah, like a hangout. Yeah. So my Discord has a study room. I don't often go in there, but I kind of have it for people to, chat on voice amongst themselves. So there is a voice channel in my Discord for that, Jasser. It's like a co-working study room place. I don't go in there often, but I've been in there a couple times. Mostly, I would go in there more if I didn't also work. But it's because of my job. I work 40 hours a week. I don't really have the time to do off-stream coding as much as I would like to. So about 80 to 90% of the coding work I do in a week is live streamed. So yeah, but no, it's, I mean, that voice channel's there. You can also, you know, chat in general in my Discord and be like, you know, hey, does anyone want to co-work or something? And then you could ask some people in my community to join the voice chat, so you could have a friend. You know, I've got people in my Discord server from all continents, pretty sure, pretty much anyway. What work do? I work in IT. Also, if you want to read my FAQ, I have an FAQ page where you can, there's like some answers to questions that people commonly have that you can take a look at your leisure. I won't get into the specifics of my work beyond the fact that I work in IT and I'm a tier 2 IT analyst, because the industry that I work in is confidential. So, but yeah, no, I'm a tier 2 IT analyst. That is my day job. But eventually, you know, I'd like to pivot out of that. I'd like to be maybe self-employed one day, or, you know, working in software development, broadly speaking. I don't know yet, but, you know, I'm learning, you know, on the time off work, so that I can have those skills to, you know, do what I want and explore my professional potential, I guess. So yeah, and as I said earlier in the stream, today's stream is going to be more of like a study stream. Hopefully I will get to this CV application project sooner rather than later. And you know, finish out the React course. I also might pivot away from Odin Project after the React course and do some front-end mentor projects. But we'll see. We'll see. Right, so we got the different props. Person, and then the person has... Okay, some like URLs here. That's fine. Props let you think about parent and child components independently. Example, you can change the person or the size props inside profile without having to think about the avatar uses them. Right. That's a good way of thinking about props, I think, with React, is they're like the arguments to components. I think that's actually kind of a clever characterization. So yeah, we got the default values already. Did that. Forwarding profs with the JSS spread syntax. Ah, okay. That's a good. Props can be forwarded from a parent to a child using the spread operator. So if we were to write this, it would be like function parent props turn div class name is prop or card, I guess. Just keep with that. Child. Oh, interesting. When components are nested inside of other components, the parent component will receive the children's content in a prop called children. Try replacing the avatar inside card with some text to see how card component can wrap any nested content. Ah, I see, okay. You think of component with children prop as having a hole that can be filled by its parent component with arbitrary JSX. The children prop used for visual parameters. How props change over time, the clock components. Receive different props over time. They are not always static. But they are immutable. I.e., they cannot be redefined. pass props, yeah, okay. To change props or changing props requires state to be set. Yes. Okay, now let's go through these exercises. Whoops. Okay, it's challenge 1 of 3, extract a component. The gallery component contains some very similar markup. Extract a profile component out of it to reduce the duplication. You need to choose which props to pass to it. Okay. Interesting. So let's think about how to do this here. Let's do function profile, and then we need our props. So we need what do we need here? We need the name, the ID, the width, and height, right? Although we can probably do just size, right? So we can say return section, class name, profile, and then h2, name, image, class name is avatar, source is get image URL, ID, alt is name, width is size, and height is size. I think that's everything, right? Oh, and then we need the, okay, so we need the other bits in here. So maybe we pass in like a person object or something. So we have profession, awards, discovered. So name, so we can pass in name, profession, awards, and discovered. Maybe we have to do this all as an object, right? Why not? Unexpected token. Okay, let's see. How do we pass the object in here? Prop objects. Passing objects as props. Okay, here. My prop 1. The other thing I could do is define an object or something like that, but let's see. Because I would want to put all this in one object, right? Ideally. So although it's not a big deal, I can just leave it like that for the sake of this exercise. So then I can do a UL. I wonder if I can actually do emit in here. No, I can't do emit. Okay. And then we'll do UL and then do LI. And then profession. And then copy this. Awards. And what was the other thing? Discovered. I think that's everything, right? So we can do this. We can say person or profile. And then we'll say name is Maria. Profession physicist and chemist. Awards. Oh, and then there's the number of awards. Oh shit. Okay, I didn't think of that. Award list. Award. Number. Although we're gonna have to include those as a list. Okay, so let's think about how to do this. Okay, so the award number, or awards number. Award number is 4. Award list. And then we'll do Nobel Prize in Physics. Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Yo, Jay, how's it going? Just doing some exercises. I'm refactoring this example here. Davy metal and what's the other thing? And Metucci metal. Should probably actually do this. So award list, and then I need to refactor how those awards are displayed. And then discovered. It's going, had to work the late shift. Ah, that sucks. Are you still on shift or? Okay, profile, da da da. Okay, now what do we need? ID, right? ID is string here. Oh, taking your last break, nice. Yeah, so your late shift goes to when? Like 9-ish? Oh yeah, size, right? Size is 70. Okay, that should be everything. And then I need to change how this is displayed. So I need to do... I wonder if I can... I have to iterate somehow through this award list, which is going to be interesting. I could also do a helper function for that. Yes, roughly. It's actually 8:30, but I have to lock everything up. Oh, I see. Oh, so you're actually like in the... You're on site. Okay, I got you. You're on site. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so this should be good. Now I'm going to write a helper function to take these awards and then display them nicely. So we can just do a function call here, right? Whoops. So let's do export function. Display awards, award list. And then we'll do, and then it'll return a string. So we'll do let awards equals this. And then we'll say award list dot for each award. And then we'll do awards plus equals award. Actually, I can just do it like this, I think. And then awards plus equals. It's an array. What methods are available on an array to iterate? Oh, I guess is there not for each? Does for each not exist on an array? I thought it did. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I can do it directly in the TSX. Oh, okay. I guess I could. I just wanted to abstract it. Oh yeah, I guess I could do it like this. I could do it like this. Like this, something like directly embedded, or I don't know. Oh, I guess it would be the oh, it would be the, what's the function? It's not for each. It's map, right? Is it map? Or not map, reduce, maybe? Because you're reducing, so you're... Yeah, okay, I got you. Oh, it is map. Okay. Is it map or reduce? Because reduce has the accumulator, right? I don't know. Okay, let me think about that on the break. Hey, are you scared that Claude or AI might take your job? Nope. You can see my opinions here in my FAQ. Quality. I have a section right on that. Let me just look up the dot map function again. Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't change. Okay, so that doesn't change anything for the array. I think it's reduced though, is it not? If you're aggregating, if counting reduce is great. If you're iterating for templating purposes, map would be best. Okay. Well, the only reason I'm thinking of reduce is because I'm trying to convert that list into a single string, right? If that makes any sense. I don't know. So anyway, does you also have join? Yeah, it's true. I do have join. I keep forgetting all these things, guys. Right. Yeah. Okay, that's fucking stupid. Okay, so let's just do that. Let's just do that. I forgot about join. Join would actually be the most elegant solution, I think. I forgot about join. So we would add the parentheses, and then we would have the join function right here. But I'll leave that for after the break. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. All right. More you learn. Yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't thinking about it exactly. But no, it's good that you're here to remind me that there are more tools at my disposal. Because that's something I kind of forget, is I kind of get locked into thinking about the new content that I forget about the stuff I already learned. Specifically the JS functions. Oh, you got your foundation from Team Treehouse. I feel like I've heard of that, actually. Let me look that up. Are they still doing stuff? Oh yeah, teamtreehouse.com. Learn first, prompt later. See? That's a good... This is exactly my belief here. That's pretty good. Full stack JavaScript, beginner in 4 to 9 months. Huh. So these are like, I guess, boot camps, right? Sort of. Because I've heard of these guys before. And then they're probably like money, right? Like what's the... Hold on, let me do this over here just in case it brings up anything funny. I want to see what the plans are. Okay, so it's $49 a month, but I don't know if that's American dollars. I feel like that's American dollars. Oh, and then there's the tech degree boot camp. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so you can give any course a try for $25 a month. There's the courses plus and then the tech degree here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Again, it's like I could do something like this, but I don't know. I feel like what I'm doing now is essentially like 80% of the benefit of Treehouse. I feel like Treehouse is good if you don't want to... like do what I'm doing with the streaming, but you want some way to hold yourself accountable. I don't know. Maybe that's incorrect, but that's kind of how I think about it. Like I'm doing this streaming to hold myself accountable and also have kind of this virtual collaborative learning classroom, whatever you want to call it, thing going on. Anyway, okay, so let's do this dot join here. So it'd be award list dot join with a space, right? So then that should work. Nice. I think that's everything then. And then I can just put this guy inside of here. Get rid of this. And then copy paste this guy. They're heavily video based, but the quizzes are and built-in IDE is cool. Oh, they have a built-in IDE. That's kind of neat. But I feel like, okay, I feel like not having a built-in IDE is good because then it teaches you how to set up environments and stuff like that. All right, sounds good, Jay. Have a fantastic rest of your shift. I may or may not be still here. I don't know. I'll probably end around 9, so no guarantees. Okay. Okay, what are we doing here? So we need the Katsuko Sarahashi. Yep, no problem. This ID. The size is the same. He was a geochemist. Boards, he had 2 of them. Whoops. What the hell is happening here? This is all fucked here. Whoa. Okay, let me just delete this. I feel like this online IDE thing just broke. It might have just broke it. Yeah, now I'm like clicking around and it's just like not. That is unfortunate. Guys, I broke it. I don't know how I broke it. What the fuck happened here? Yeah, because it's not even like selecting the right line. Okay, you know what? I think I get the point here. I'm just gonna say this is complete because I think the point has been made. Because I basically had it solved. I just didn't put it all together, but that's fine. I'm just gonna make the executive decision and move on. Because this online IDE, not even IDE, this online text editor just like shit the bed. In this example, avatar receives a numeric size prop which determines the image width and height. The size prop is set to 40. However, if you open the image in each tab, you'll notice that the image itself is larger. The real image size is determined by which thumbnail size you're requesting. Okay. Change the avatar component to request the closest image size based on the size prop. So I think I can actually do this. I can do this like this, up here, right? I can do, I'll say let S equal, actually no, not S, image size equal, and then we'll do a ternary operator. We'll say size less than 90, S otherwise B, right? And then we'll just pass in image size here. That should just fix it. So that should be fine, right? Because what was the stuff before? So if we just put in B by default, then I don't know. I don't really see a visual difference, but I think this should work. Cool. Okay. Let's go on to the next challenge. Passing JSX in a children prop. Okay. Extract a card component from the markup below and use the children prop to pass different JSX. Okay. So, let's think about this. So we have, what's the main thing here? Oh, okay. So we can do our card. So we'll say export default function card. And then we'll do return h1, or no, it's a div, I guess. And then just pass the content in here, right? How do we do the children again? Oh, I guess it's just this. And then it would just be children. Like inside the div, maybe? Export default function. What's the problem here? Oh, only one per module. Okay. One default export. So I'll just do export function here. Yo, Gaming D, how's it going, my friend? Yeah, I guess it's just that easy. Maybe. So then what we can do now is let's refactor this. So we have our card. And then we just include the content within that, right? Now, let me think about this. Card and then avatar. Oh, I need another file and stuff, right? Because I would need to have like this is a profile, and then this is like an about card or something like that, right? So I'm thinking, I wonder if we do another, we have to do different functions here. So we need a name, source, or URL, and size maybe. Nothing much, just got work tomorrow and the thought is killing me. I know how you feel. I also have work tomorrow and I don't want to do it. But you know what? I also need money, so as you would understand, I'm sure. So I'll do, for the about, I'll do description. This. And then we will do, actually, within the card, then we'll actually do a card content div as well. Like this, right? Okay. So then we'll do, in the profile, we'll return an h1 of a photo, and then image. Why isn't this working? What? Class name. It's not like this image tag for some reason. JSON JSX elements must be wrapped in a closing tag. Oh, right, because this needs to be as a fragment. Forgot about that. There we go. True, always. Web dev related to my work or something you do as a hobby? It's a little bit of both. So I work in IT. So I work in tech tangentially, but not development. But I'm doing web dev on the side, learning web dev half as a hobby and half, as a way to eventually make a career pivot when I feel as though I can or I want to. Probably not anytime soon, like immediately soon, but hopefully within the next year or two. I'd like to pivot to web development, software development. I know that's kind of a, touchy subject right now with AI and all these things, but my kind of approach is to learn web development manually first before I start using AI tools in my development workflow so that I know how to properly use the AI to its greatest advantage. Because I feel like using the AI well requires that you have a deep understanding of the existing technologies. And that is something that I think a lot of senior developers that have been programming for 20 years plus are taking for granted in today's world with AI, right? Like, it's very easy for a senior developer to say, use AI, for, it really helps me increase efficiency for programming and all these things. But that kind of alienates junior devs because they're like, okay, well, what happens when the AI is stuck and then I get stuck in like prompt hell, right? Senior devs like, oh, well then, you should know the right questions to ask it. But the junior devs, they wouldn't, they don't know that right off the bat because they don't have that deep knowledge of these technologies. So they don't know how to get out of ruts like that, right? So that's why I'm learning, and I know you didn't ask or anything, but I'm kind of just saying this as well, just for anyone else that might be watching. That's why I'm learning this stuff manually so that when it does come to integrate these modern workflows, I have the knowledge that I need to go about it effectively, I guess. Anyway, okay, let's do the source as the URL, and then the class name's actually avatar, I think, and then the alt text is the name, and the width is the size. Height is the size, right? And then for this, we'll do h1 about, and then description. Okay, so then in here we're going to do card. Actually, I might do it like this. Profile. Or not profile. Oh, this is named two things. Let's do avatar. That's why. You have an interesting perspective. Don't have enough contextual. know-hows to comment since I sell insurance for a living. Best wishes. I appreciate that, gaming. Yeah. Oh, selling insurance. That must be a joy. I do not envy you. But yeah, I don't know. Like, as I say, like, I have a degree. So I have some of that background knowledge already. I also work in tech, so I'm kind of, for better or worse, immersed in this world. So I would like to think that I have a pretty decent idea of what I need to do. So I think I'm at the knowing what I don't know phase, maybe. I'm not at the don't know what I don't know, or I've kind of worked out of that already. But I don't know. I'm trying my best, and you know what? If it all blows up in my face, I had fun along the way, so that's all that matters. Okay, so I need to give these properties. So we'll say name. Actually, how do I put in these properties? Right, it's just like this. Okay. So name is this. And then the URL is this. And the size is 70, right? So there's our avatar. And then we want to have another card with the about inside of it, right? With the description as this. Okay. And we can get rid of this. So I think that refactor was successful, right? Oh, received true for a non-Boolean attribute. Oh. Oh, value.toString. This. But it's already a string, so I don't know what the problem is here. It should be a string already. Hey, at least in IT you get to log out on time. Yeah, exactly. That is one thing with IT that I really do enjoy is when my day is over at 5 o'clock, it's over. And then I don't start again until 8 the next morning. So it's very much, I get that work-life separation. I do agree with that. Oh, wait, was this closed? Yeah, it should have been. Avatar, name, URL size. Okay, so it's creating them right. Receive true for new non-Boolean. Why is it true? Maybe I just do it like this, because it's not a... So I'm passing it in as a string. Maybe that doesn't work. Oh, okay. Okay, well... I wonder if I actually put this in... Unexpected token... Width. Oh, alt name. I closed it though. There we go. Selling insurance is like selling a comb to a bald man. Yeah. Speaking of insurance, I actually just I need to switch over my vehicle insurance, and that's been like a pain. Kind of like I will say the insurance agents are very tenacious. Nothing against them. Like, I know it's a hustle, but, you know, it's difficult because you have like 17 million different aspects to consider when you're buying insurance, right? Like, I used this online portal to get a quote from this one insurance company, and they like blew up my phone after that. And I'm like, guys, I just wanted to see what it costs. Like, you know, no, again, nothing against it, but it's just like, man, I don't know. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So, okay, I'm just confused why these aren't, like, do I need to wrap these in, like, JS, like, maybe I need to do it like this, right? Does that fix it? I don't know. If you want to write it to DOM, oh, an empty string. This is so weird. I don't understand why this isn't working. Because if these are just strings, they should just be passed. Name, URL size. An error occurred in the avatar component. Consider adding an error boundary. Is it because I'm exporting them? Maybe that's why. Let me try removing that. No, it didn't change anything here. Although it's not giving me errors anymore, which is very random. Let's try reloading this. Yeah. So there's no more errors, but and the image URL is correct. So photo, so this is all right, and then but the about section is wrong. Which is interesting. Description. Yeah, like I've got that description. After any JSX you put inside of a component stack will be passed as the children prop to that component. Right. Which is what I did. This is not this about section, function about description. What am I missing? Oh, I misspelled description. Guys. There we go. How's it going, Spoles? I misspelled description. Very, very funny. Okay, there we go. I think that's solved. I think I can call that solved. Because we've got the photo and the about. We refactored it to use components here. What's up, Spoles? Make sure to edit the code examples and experiment with different prop values. How can we pass functions as props? Yeah, I already got it. All right, cool. Rendering techniques. we've learned about components, props, and JSX. This lesson will cover how we render multiple elements conditionally. Hello, Abdu. How's it going, my friend? If you want to render more than just 4, it can be tedious and long. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. This is kind of what we were working on earlier. Nice haircut, thank you. You're the first to notice. I actually got that this afternoon. How long have I been doing this? It's hard to say, gaming, because I've been doing this for 57 days. Like this YouTube project, live streaming web development. However, I also have a CS degree, and which was a 2-year degree. I managed to get it in 2 years because I had a lot of prerequisites filled from another program. Yeah, so I have that. So I guess you could say like 2.5, 3 years total, like coding. But web development specifically has only been the last since like middle of January this year. But I will say that knowing how to code from my degree has accelerated my learning in web development, because it's kind of given me that problem solving technical mindset that I can kind of use to figure stuff out. And I can also look at like syntax and understand kind of what's going on at a glance, which is like a skill in itself. So yeah. But no, before like 2023, I didn't really know how to code properly at all. Like I knew like what coding was and stuff, but I couldn't like write any code like for that would be anything significant. So but yeah, no, Abdu, I'm finally on React, which has been exciting. So I'm kind of just going through the beginner lessons. Yesterday I set up an example project, but I'm just kind of going through this stuff. Yeah, I learned math more than coding. Exactly, it was a lot more math, but there was coding involved. It just wasn't web development or anything. Gotta think of college after done with high school, but you still have 2 years left. Oh, you're still in high school gaming. So you're like selling insurance at like 16? Or like however old you are? That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. When I was 16, or I don't know, I'm assuming, I don't know. If you still have 2 years left of high school, it makes me think you're like 15 or 16. But I actually have 2 degrees. I have a degree in biology that took me 5 years. And then I used my prerequisites in that degree to get my comp sci degree. So I was in school for 7 years after high school. So, you know, a bit of a long, non-linear road, but, you know, I'm here nonetheless. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Got you. I did not know that was a thing. Very neat. You know, that's great experience at 16. When I was 16, I worked at a garden center for a bit, and I was also a camp counselor. I was not, you know, that's pretty ambitious. I don't know if I would have had if I would have had it in me to do that at that age. Shit, I couldn't even do it now. So, kudos to you, my friend. I'm sure you've heard quite a bit doing that line of work. Must be rough being a high school student these days. Like when I was in high school, it was like pre-COVID, pre-AI, pre-everything. Like the world was a completely different place when I was your age. God bless the one who knows their own worth. I agree with that, Abdu. Totally. You're studying CS so you can be a game programmer. GPT 3.5 came out and I started cheating up to data structures. I'm trying to uncook myself from vibe coding. Fraud to enjoy the ride and learn. Yeah, exactly. Direct. Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Schools just treat it like a filter. Yeah, GPA is not everything. I mean, I put a lot into my GPA, but, you know, that was just because I kind of treated school like a game. But I come from an era, I'm old enough that I'm an early Gen Z. So I come from an era before AI. Like, I did all of high school and all of my first university degree without LLMs. Like, they didn't exist. So, you know, I think that mindset's kind of helpful for me being in this space now. And, you know, there's a lot of older folks that would agree with me. You only cheated because you wanted to raise your GPA. Recently went up to 2.1. That's not bad, direct. Right on. But you know what? I wouldn't say cheating is the best way of going about it. So if you can do it legitimately, that would be probably the most advisable. Insurance gave you a lot of medical knowledge, if that makes sense, because medical underwriting, get a client group. Yeah. I see what you mean, gaming. So you're like, if you're selling like medical insurance, that's the other thing about the States that I don't understand. Like, I'm Canadian. I'm from Canada, where we get free healthcare, and like the idea of medical insurance is like crazy to me. But you know, it is what it is, right? Like, I have family in the States, you know, that has insurance and stuff like that. So, like, I get it, but it's tough. But that's really cool, gaming, for sure. Like, and to have that kind of cognitive flexibility at 16 is like very commendable. So honestly, like, I mean, you could probably pivot into that. Yeah, it's completely free, Abdu. I mean, is it the best healthcare in the world? No, but it's free. Like, I could go to the hospital with, like, if I broke my arm, I could go to the hospital and get a cast and get x-rays, and I would owe nothing. It would be completely free. Now, how long would I have to wait for those x-rays? I don't know. It depends. It could be hours. It could be days. Who knows? But, you know, at least there's no charge. So that saves a lot of people. We've got kind of a more socialist, I guess, democratic socialist structure in Canada. You can't become the grades kid that only knows how to read from a book and do the baby work. Ooh, okay. Embedded systems, that's pretty ambitious, but, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm going to sit here and say you can't do it if you don't put your mind to it. I think anyone can do anything. Well, actually, it's a little naive to say, but within reason, if you have an ambition to learn something, I think that you can learn it, generally speaking. So I don't know. I would say go for it. You ask health questions to determine how likely they are to qualify. Yeah. Oh, burial insurance. Interesting. Taking high-level coding classes, but I still feel like I know nothing. Can code without AI a bit better now. Yeah, dude, I've never paid a single fucking dime to AI companies. I've used them before, don't get me wrong, but I've never paid for it, so I get you. And the thing is, they're only going to charge more now as AI becomes less and less novel, right? And the thing is, I think AI, a lot of AI is just propped up by um, power users increasingly. Like the casual that doesn't use AI that much is not giving them money. Like it's the very few, whether it's like Silicon Valley, like tech bro, AI bros, they're the ones that are funding these AI companies by and large, I feel like. Yeah, exactly, direct. I hear you. I've been saying that since like 2024, my friend. Um, it's exhausting. We should learn how to use AI, but we shouldn't be unrealistic about it. You know what I mean? Like all the hype is exhausting, I think. Like we should treat AI at face value. Um, so no, of course he hasn't. The other thing we can do is like this, yeah. Or we also do it like this. Okay, so the key property. I think you would know better, but why do data scientists like AI so much? We have some working at our firm, and they always bicker about with the software guys. I think it's because again, and I kind of said this a little earlier. It's because a lot of the well, there's two kinds of people. Okay, there's two kinds of people that I've seen that like AI. Okay, there's the senior developer that uses AI to increase their productivity because if they use it correctly, it can increase their productivity because they know what the AI can do and what it can't do, and they kind of bicker over those specificities, right? So whether okay, Grok can solve this problem, but Claude can do this one, um, whatever it is, right? I don't know. So they bicker over those details, right? And then the other camp of people are people that have no idea what they're doing and they're just vibe coding and they think that they're fully embedded into the hype cycle, right? Whatever the experts say must be true, and I'm going to use as much of it as possible and spend as much money as possible to do this, right? So yeah, there's like the senior developer camp who are having a more intelligent discussion about AI, even though it's still kind of embedded within this hype cycle. And then there's those juniors or vibe coders, I guess, that are fully bought in, right? They're just completely sold, like they're completely sellouts, I guess, to it. A guy who go get a quant job despite being super rusty at Python. Oh, geez, direct, really? That's crazy. One friend told me they created AI to fake the Epstein files. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I don't know what you mean by fake the Epstein files. Oh, you mean they created, like they being uh like billionaires and stuff. I see what you're saying. No, I don't think those are fake. I'm not going to get political, but those are not fake. Those are very much real. Yeah, no, I think they're very much real. I think AI was created if anything, to increase the spread of. Yeah, they are real. They're totally real, Abdu. I think AI by and large was, well, not just to advance the tech, right? Like AI 10 years ago, right? Um, Yo, Atulia, how's it going? I'm doing pretty well. I hope you're doing well. Let me get back to what I was saying. I think AI is being created just for scientific research, right? And then 10 years ago, somebody realized, holy shit, if we make an LLM that tells people information, we can make a lot of money, right? And so then they kind of like OpenAI was created, Anthropic was created to kind of invest money into creating these AI tools because they thought they could make a shit ton of money by generating all this content. But then I think they've kind of, it's kind of created this bubble, right? They kind of overexpected or overestimated what it could do, right? There's always a gap of understanding between the very experienced and the newbies, like communication gap due to experience. Yeah, I would say so. But I think and that kind of goes into this point gaming where like the senior devs talking about AI and the vibe coder junior devs or like inexperienced devs talking about AI, those two are in different worlds, right? They're having two different conversations. The junior devs think they're in the camp of the senior devs, but they're really not. They're really over here on their own, but they think they're in the same camp. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Maybe they're made to distract us. I think that's part of it, Atulia. I think it's part of they're trying to embed it into this capitalist hellscape that we have going on in the West, right? Where it's full of consumerism, it's full of distraction, it's full of all of those things, right? Attention, like commodifying attention, commodifying data. The other thing too that they're doing with AI is data harvesting, right? Like think of all the prompts that you write into ChatGPT. You don't think OpenAI isn't doing stuff with those prompts? Like for sure. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely using that and selling that data to advertisers. So essentially, on top of being this AI that gives you novel whatever content, it's also a data farm, really. At the end of the day, like that's why it's free. I think there's that free tier to just data farm for millions and millions of people. Which is why I think a lot of the more like OpenClaw, I think that's what it is, where people are running kind of these models locally on their machines because they don't want to be farmed by these big tech companies, right? So I don't know. That's kind of my take on it. Let me get back into this here. The hardware development is what allowed them to create artificial intelligence. Yes, I would say so. I would do like GPU tech specifically. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I would agree. We can also use separate components to dynamically list elements like You're not from the West, so I wouldn't know, but I have a general idea. Yeah, I think the consumerist capitalist world is kind of broadly all over the world, but it's particularly concentrated in the West, like the United States and its surrounding influence, like Canada and even parts of Europe. Because it was already there, but hardware was not capable. Yeah, I mean the logic, the theory was there. Abdu, like the theory behind neural networks was invented in the 1950s, right? Like if you look up the perceptron, right? This thing, it was basically the first neural network, and it was invented in like 1957, right? So this type of basic, theory has been around for 80 years, right? By the way, what is the name of the timer software I'm using? Pomo. It's called Pomodoro.io, right? Yeah, whatever. This should list the Pomo Focus. That's what it is. There you go. There's the link. Yeah, it's just a web-based timer, Tulia. Thanks for your time. It's 5:20 a.m. here. Gotta get some sleep. All right, I appreciate you gaming. Thanks for stopping by. I always like these discussions. They're kind of fun. Okay, we've moved. Yeah, okay. So you may notice squiggly lines under your props. And then there's the list item. I see. Okay. And then we put the list item in its own prop there. I see. What do I have to do after this lesson here? Conditional rendering. Conditionally rendering UI. Let's make some decisions within our component. What if we only want to render an animal that starts with the letter L? Okay. So it'd be something like this. Do you agree that we live in an advanced age, but we're not advanced? We can use, but we cannot build. I mean, like, what do you mean by we? Like, we being, like, most people, like the population? Am I using OBS? Yeah, I'm using OBS, Atulia, for streaming. And then I have a display, or what is it called? A window capture for the timer, and then I cropped it so that it shows the right part of the timer. Humans, yeah, okay. I mean, I think most people are not like when you say advanced, like if you mean like with regards to technology, right? Most people are not tech people, right? Most people are, you know, they don't really know anything about coding. They don't know about how AI works. They don't know about how the internet works. They just take it all for granted. So for what that's worth, I think that's true. But I do think, though, that there's still millions of us that know and understand how these technologies work, right? So it's those different groups of people that kind of advance technology. Like you have the people that work in medicine research advancing vaccine technology, right? You have people in tech advancing AI technology. You have people in engineering advancing rocket technology, stuff like this, right? And all of these people kind of working independently create this advanced society that we see, right? That's kind of my opinion, right? And then there's a lot of people that are just working day to day, right? They're within this society, but they're not necessarily contributing to the advancement of it, right? They're perpetuating it. Like, for example, even if you're a cashier at Walmart, you're buying into the capitalist society, right? You're working in the society, you're contributing to the economy, stuff like this. So you're kind of buying into it. You're agreeing to that social contract, right? But you're not necessarily contributing to the advancement of it, I guess. And most people aren't, and that's not a problem. And the system wasn't designed to be like that. But however, if you do want to contribute to the advancement of our society, then you very much can do that if you put your mind to it, right? So anyway, that's kind of my take on that. Okay, so let's see. We have this starts with, yeah, so that's pretty easy. So I'll just copy this as well. The result of starts with function is true. Then it returns the second operand, which is the li element, and renders it. Otherwise, if the condition is false, then false gets returned. JSX or okay, so JSX renders the Boolean false as, or JSX does not render which would be returned if the condition is not met. Sounds good, Abdu. I don't know. Maybe I should like write a blog or something at some point, guys. I don't know. These ideas are very intriguing. Because I do think about these things quite often. Maybe I'll make a vlog. Maybe I'll make a blog once I get better at React and Node and stuff like that, and then I can have that going. Because I don't know. I do like writing every now and again. Okay, so let's see. Can render conditionally. Actually, let's do it here. Render conditionally using if. So we can do this guy here. It's often the case when you're fetching from APIs, since it might take some time to actually retrieve the data. Useful pattern when fetching data from API as the information may not be retrieved immediately. Show visual indication of loading. Do this with ternary operators. I feel like this is not readable though. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like generally that's not readable. Like if you were to do this conditional logic with ternaries, okay, so then, yeah, sure. Hot props and yeah, this is confusing, kind of. Give me your opinion on this quote. He who desires the top must sit up many nights. So basically, you mean, you know, who, if you want to really succeed, you have to really put in a lot of effort, right? I think that's kind of what that's saying, maybe. Yo, how's it going, Ali? Yeah, I think that's true in the sense that if you want to succeed, consistency is very key. And I mean, that's boded true for my channel, right? Like, I mean, I'd like to think I've been fairly consistent and, you know, it's done me good, I think. I mean, you know, I'll probably hit 1,000 subscribers within the next month. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know. We'll see. So you know that's pretty good. I think a lot of the most successful people out there have been consistent, and that's kind of what's gotten them to where they are. However, I think it's also true that you can be consistent and in some cases not succeed due to bad luck. So I don't think that's the only. I don't think that's the only ticket, right? Like I think that's part of a solution, right? I think success is also luck based, right? Like you could argue that, you know, my growth over the last 3 months or so on YouTube has been really slow, right? Because to somebody like who has 10,000 subscribers, my 750 subscribers probably looks like nothing, right? So it's all relative. I also think success is in the eye of the beholder, right? So if you can kind of define what success looks like for yourself, right? So, or what the top looks like, right? Some people think the top is the very, very top of all of humanity, in which case you become a megalomaniac billionaire. Other people think of the top as just having a family and living a quiet life, right? Where you want or need for nothing and you're not poor, right? Which you know, I think that's a very virtuous way to be, right? And that's kind of, I mean, sort of what I would want for myself. So I don't know. TLDR, I think it's more complicated than that, but broadly speaking, I think that's good advice. But yeah. Yeah, so I think for tonight, I'm going to do one more session. And then probably by next stream or the stream after, we'll get to this CV application. CV application project. So do conditional rendering and rendering lists. I think we've got projects at the end of these, right? Yeah, challenges. Cool. So I'll work through those challenges. After our break here. See you next time. Yeah. See you, Abdu. Hope you have a good night, my friend. / morning. I guess it could be pretty early over there. All right, let's just skip right to the chase here. Get started with this content. All right. I don't always finish the breaks. I mean, I usually do, but nah. I kind of, use judgment on how I'm feeling to kind of see what I do and don't do. Okay, so conditional rendering. Your components will often need to display. Yeah, okay. Save a packing list, rendering several items. Notice that the item component have their isPacked prop set to true instead of false. You want to add a check mark to packed items if isPacked is true. If the isPacked prop is true, the code returns a different JSX tree. With this change, some of the items get a check mark at the end. Interesting. Yeah, so null renders nothing. Null renders nothing. I.e. turning null to a or from a component will render nothing in the parent / put anything on the DOM. Right. Okay, so let's see. If isPacked is true, yeah, the component will return nothing. Practice returning null from a component isn't common because it might surprise a developer. Right, you might want to conditionally include or exclude component in the parent's component JSX. Don't repeat yourself, yeah. What if you want to change the class name? Well, you'd have to do it in 2 places in your code. Yeah, this is a good way of writing it. So instead of doing it like this, where you have this duplicated list item tag, you include the ternary operator within the JavaScript inside of the curly braces. Yeah, that makes sense. Are these 2 examples fully equivalent? JSX elements aren't instances because they don't hold any internal state and aren't real DOM nodes. They're lightweight descriptions like blueprints. So these two examples are completely equivalent. Interesting. Style works well for using moderation. If your components get messy with too much nested conditional markup, consider extracting child components to clean things up. Yeah. Logical AND operator. Yeah, I need to write how that works. Use of logical AND operator with conditional JSX. So we could do like function item is name is packed, and then return li check mark. Yes. Read below, read below as if is packed, then render the check mark. Otherwise, render nothing. I feel like this is JSX specific though, right? Because this kind of behavior is not intuitive. I feel like this kind of logical AND operator thing. Oh, I see. JS AND operator always returns the value of its right side. If the left side condition is true. Otherwise, if the left side is false, the entire expression will be false. Yeah, that makes sense. Conditionally assigning JSX to a variable. Yo, Stuns, how's it going? Using an if statement to reassign JSX expression to item content. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So we could also do it like this. So we do an OR function, item name is packed. Going good, how are you? It's going pretty well, just getting started with learning React, which has been fun. Could also do it like this. Yeah. Is it good? Yeah, I think it's great. I think the thing that React allows you to do that is so frustrating in vanilla is, you know how like when you're making like the tic-tac-toe game or any other kind of, you know, vanilla application, you have the rendering of the DOM as HTML, obviously, right? And then the JavaScript as a separate thing. And then you have to the connection between that DOM and the JavaScript is always through, you know, functions like create element, query selector, right? All these functions, right? But instead of all this bullshit, you can just put like closely couple the rendering with the logic, right? So using this hybrid extension syntax called JSX, you can kind of put that rendering logic with the actual like control logic of your application kind of together. I don't know. So instead of having to like manage all these variables with like create element and query selector and all this BS, you can kind of just tightly couple it together. Yeah, that's kind of what React, like that's the essence of it, I think, that I'm kind of getting to learn here. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay, so then let's see. If you're not familiar with JavaScript, the variety of styles might seem overwhelming. Pick the one you prefer from start and then consult reference again. Okay, yeah. So let's do these challenges. So this is good because when these React lessons usually end with these articles from the official React documentation, right? And there are some interactive challenges at the end, which are very, I would think, very beneficial to kind of the learning process. Okay, so let's try doing these exercises. So let's see. Show an icon for incomplete items with to render an X if packed isn't true. So then we can just change this like this. We can say is packed, otherwise render the X, right? There. So that would be the solution to that problem, right? And then we'll move on to the next exercise or challenge. In this example, each item receives a numerical importance prop. Use the AND operator to render importance X in italics, but only for items that have a non-zero importance. So we can do this. We can do importance greater than 0, and then we can do this. Put this in brackets, maybe. Well, let me think about how to do this. I wonder if I can do nice. So now that looks right. Cool. Do our next challenge, refactor a series of this to if and variables. The drink component uses a series of ternary operators conditions to show different information depending on whether the name prop is tea or coffee. The problem is that the information is about each drink is spread across multiple conditions. Refactor to use a single if stream instead of this. Okay. You won't lie, been slacking with the Odin project recently. It's kind of annoying. You need to get back into it. Yeah, for sure, Stuns. You know what though? That happens, right? Like, you know, we get in and out of things, but I mean, if you need motivation, you know, you can always use. I know it's not ideal for. I know the time zone difference is kind of weird, but even on like the weekends or something, like when I stream at an earlier time, you can use my streams to kind of work alongside me, right? Like on Saturday, I'm streaming at 1:00 p.m. my time, which is like what, like 6 or 7 p.m. Not to use the meme, I think it's 6 p.m. your time, right? So you could, you know, if that works for you, you can kind of have my stream playing alongside you working, or, you know, even you can just replay the VOD while you work or something to kind of have that motivation. I mean, I'm not saying you don't have to use my stream specifically, but if you wanted to. I know there's other, you know, there's other web dev streamers out there that you could probably, that stream at different times. So just having us in the background, maybe, kind of, we can co-work together. Start, you're going back on my streams. Nice, Stuns. Nice. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually thinking after I finish the React course in Odin Project, I'm gonna take a break with Odin, and I'm gonna go over to this front end mentor and do some React front end practice. Maybe even learn Tailwind as well. So I think I might do a little foray into this after the React course. And then after that, I'll probably get back into Odin and finish up the node and databases stuff. You've done a few front-end mentor challenges in the past? Nice. That's awesome, Stuns. Yeah, I mean, I was told about front-end mentor by a viewer. I don't remember who it was, actually, but someone told me about it, and I was like, you know what, like, that would be kind of cool. So I think I'm going to practice my front end with React and Tailwind, because I do want to learn Tailwind as well, but there's no section for Tailwind in Odin Project, so I think I'm going to teach myself Tailwind and do a couple of those. Oh, you found it from another person who streams YouTube. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to lie, I know there are other streamers. There are other web dev streamers, and, well, there's some that do, like, vibe coding and stuff, but I don't really watch their stuff much. Not because I don't want to, just because, like, I don't really have the time, unfortunately, and I kind of want to focus on my own streams. But I think, you know, they were kind of seeing their stuff kind of was what inspired me to get started streaming, so, you know. Okay, so let's refactor this. So let's have some variables here. So we'll say let. You just found front end a little too challenging when it got further into it because it expects you to know a little already. That's why I left and found your channel and heard of the Odin Project. Yeah, Stuns. Exactly. And that's the beauty of the Odin Project, is it kind of starts you off at that very foundation, right? Like building this stuff up. Like let me tell you that like learning vanilla JavaScript as we've been doing for the last 2.5 months is extremely helpful for learning React. Like very, very helpful. You wanted to learn web dev on the side via Codecademy just to put together your own portfolio website? Yeah, you should totally do that, Direct. Absolutely. So I'll say let, what should I call this? Plant equal, actually I'll say if t, if name is t, I'll do it like this. I'll say let plant equal bean, let, what's the other parts here? Let caffeine equal 80 to 185. I use single quotes, I guess, for consistency. Yeah, definitely. So I would recommend, like, when you get into React eventually, you will be like, oh shit, this like actually makes sense. Yeah, no worries, Stuns. I'm not gonna be streaming for much longer either, so it's yeah, it's no problem if you have to go. So I'll say the age is 1,000+ years. And then if name is t, then we'll say plant equals leaf, caffeine equals, what is the caffeine? 15 to 70 milligrams, and age is 4,000+ years. Right? And then we'll say plant caffeine content, caffeine, and age. There we go. So there's our single if statement. So by default it's coffee, right? And then otherwise it's tea. So nice. There's definitely ways you can simplify it, right? Like you could also, instead of doing this, you could just do the ternary operators inside of the variable declarations, right? So I could do this like this. I could say plant is, name is t, leaf, otherwise bean, right? So I could do something like this. And then I could do that for each individual one, but I'll leave that for now. Okay, so that's that conditional rendering finished. I'll start with this rendering list here, but I don't think I'm going to finish it. I don't think. Are there challenges? Yes, there are challenges. Okay, so I'm not gonna finish this stream, but this is where we'll, I guess, pick up on the next stream. But I'll just get started reading this. Tomorrow when we stream again. So I think today we finished, what do? We did JSX, passing data between components, and then almost finished rendering techniques. So that's not too bad. So probably realistically, whoa, holy shit. There's like a whole dev box in here. That's kind of neat. Yeah, so realistically, we're probably going to get to this CV application on Thursday. So, you know, this project. So we'll have our first React project under our belt, hopefully by the end of the week. It might take me longer to finish it, but, you know, we'll see. Yeah, so we already know how to do this. We already did the lesson inside of the Odin documentation, right? So we have the map function. Filtering arrays of items. And then so we can filter stuff based on chemist. Yeah, cool. Sounds good, Stuns. I'm actually about to end stream here in a bit, but unfortunately, I know it's I know you just came back, but you know. Yeah, I just I'm trying to pace myself on these weeknights because I don't want to get too burned out. But yeah, so anyway, so what I was just saying is my plan is I'm gonna finish off this this article tomorrow, and then hopefully finish as much of these next lessons as possible tomorrow, and then hopefully by Thursday I'm gonna get to this first React project on stream. So that's kind of what I was talking about. But honestly, I don't know for sure, but I do not think that the React course is going to take me as long as the JavaScript course took me. Like, I think the JavaScript course took me, what, like 35 days? I think this is going to be more like 25 days, probably. And then, yeah, after this React course, thinking of going into some front-end mentor projects, maybe continuing front-end a little bit, and then jumping into back-end with Node. And then after that, I might even honestly learn other back-end technologies, maybe some Python stuff, maybe some Go, maybe learn a different front-end library / framework. Like I was thinking of learning Svelte. Like, I don't know. You know, I'm just going to continue expanding my breadth of knowledge and going about it kind of as I see fit. But anyway, so I think that's going to do it for today's stream. I appreciate everybody watching. Yeah, good goals. Yeah, exactly. I've got it written down too, Stuns, because I'm not going to show this because I don't want to spoil. There's some stuff in here that might be spoilers, but I have my goals written here. And other stream plan stuff. But there's some stuff I want to keep secret until I do it, like maybe some stream formatting stuff that I want to do. But anyway, so appreciate all of you watching for however long you did. You know, if you want to follow me on my journey, I stream 5 days a week, 5 nights a week, I guess, about 2.5 to 3 hours, learning web development, you know, trying my best, showing my progress. And the other thing too is I also work a full-time job, so 80 to 90% of my learning process is streamed live. So if you want to follow me, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to join the Discord for schedule updates and other things. Yeah, I appreciate that, Stuns. Have a good rest of your evening as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6:30 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Again, join the Discord if you want scheduling updates. Yeah. So anyway, I will see you all